Jay Will is here. That is because Game 2 is over. OKC crushes Indiana 123-107. Jay Will, they were in control the entire way. Initial thoughts on the game?
You know, sometimes it kind of like reminds me of like a pillow smothering somebody. That's what OKC's defense is. And look, the one thing we're not charting is the amount of deflections and the amount of times they turn you over. Lou Dort was phenomenal tonight. You heard Jalen Williams, J-Dub talk about it coming out of the half, just about how pesky and how relentless his pressure was on Tyrese Haliburton. Tyrese Haliburton, I think, had around 17, 18 points. He got a lot of those in trash time. You also saw Mark Daigneault go back to the double big lineup with Isaiah Hartenstein and Holmgren. Holmgren got going offensively, but also Williams and SGA. The one thing you didn't see from them in Game 1, SGA came out first quarter, took 9, 10 shots, was very aggressive. They had 13 of the team's 24 assists in this ball game. They got everybody going. They got the offense going. And I think when their defense combines with how they play offensively, they're showing you why they're the best team in the league.
You know, I don't know that OKC needed to blow it up after Game 1. They led by 15 in the fourth quarter, but they dictated everything in this game tonight. And let's show you how it went down from Oklahoma City. Of course, Tyrese Haliburton, the hero of Game 1 for Indiana, but the Thunder so good off a loss in this postseason. And Jay Will, Chet Holmgren was a different player tonight.
Well, Pascal Siakam should wake up there defensively. I mean, he was in no man's land, and he got a wide open catch and shoot three. But this is the versatility everybody's been talking about with Holmgren throughout the entire season. He can put the ball down on the ground. He's a 7-footer. He can play with his back to the basket. He has the full offensive package.
You know, one of the stories of Game 1, OKC struggled finishing around the rim. That was not the story in this game.
Yeah, just finishing strong at the rim, playing through contact. Once again, another high ball screen. SGA just so good at getting downhill.
So good at getting to the bucket. He'd make the free throw there. Aaron Wiggins gave OKC big minutes.
Look, you talk about him and the way they played off their bench. Him and Alex Caruso combined for 38 points. Their last game, the bench combined for only 28 points. Those two beat them what they did last game. And then once again, SGA, just another acrobatic finish at the rim.
Look, another player who shot it poorly in Game 1 that was a lot better in Game 2 tonight was Jalen Williams.
J-Dub just getting so good. Once again, by the middle penetration by SGA. SGA and J-Dub were so good at getting both feet into the paint. And right here, I mean, just the degree of difficulty. Come on, man. He's a 6'6" AI. I'll say it again. He's a 6'6" AI.
Woo.
He has that style to his game. Man, look at the way he moves. Look how he can split screens. Look how he's a master of the mid-range game. And he's a good passer.
You know, he killed.
Your face just blew up when I said that.
I like the comparison there to a Hall of Famer. He's the league MVP. He's gone for 30 points a game in 3 straight seasons. Jay, I get it, but why did Indiana struggle so much to stop him tonight?
Well, I mean, they had a hard time stopping him in Game 1. The reality is that OKC took their foot off the gas down the stretch in Game 1, and Indiana's a really good team that plays with continuity. They're able to come back and play. But what you saw from beginning to end was a sustained, relentless defensive effort. They made life miserable for Tyrese, and SGA took over when it mattered the most.
And a total domination in Game 2 for OKC. It's now a 1-1 series. Here's new on SportsCenter, SGA with George Sedano.
You showed a ton of resilience again tonight. What was different?
Yeah, we just used the opportunity to get better. We've done a really good job of that all year, and last game was no different. Tonight is the same thing. We did some things good tonight, we did some things bad, and we got to be able to get better and get ready for Game 3.
Defensively, you guys look like the #1 defense again tonight. What was the focus like defensively?
Yeah, we know with them, that's where it starts. They're a high-powered offense, they play fast, score a bunch of points, and if you don't get stops, you end up running all game, and they can beat you that way.
His 11th playoff game with 30 points and 5 assists in this postseason. He's only the 3rd player in NBA history with that many in a single postseason, and he joins the most elite of all the company, the only other players to do it, Michael Jordan and LeBron James.
Do you like that 6'6" AI comp with the splash of Kobe Bryant in him? I mean, moves similar.
I'm just trying to picture in my mind they have SGA and a 6'6" AI. When you put that together, what's the future look like? But we see what SGA can do, but we also know what Tyrese Haliburton can do, Jay Will, and he didn't get that done tonight. Look, what did you see from him, and how did they bottle him up as compared to Game 1?
It was a great team performance by OKC. But there's no doubt Indiana is better when Tyrese Haliburton is aggressive right out of the gate. We've seen that in multiple series throughout the NBA playoffs against the Cleveland Cavaliers, against the New York Knicks. And there were multiple times in the first half where I came out here and I talked to you guys about him being selfish, right? And what I mean by that, because most people correspond selfishness to you taking all the shots. I reverse that for Tyrese Haliburton. It's him making all the passes. I need him to be unselfish. Wow. Him being unselfish is actually him targeting his eyes on the rim and shooting. That's not his innate ability. But when he is aggressive and he takes shots, all of a sudden the defense has to play on him more. And offensively, then he can get everybody else going more so offensively. So, look, you're going to see adjustments, I think also by Rick Carlisle in Game 3. They're going to try to bottle up more of SGA, force more ISO basketball by them because the ball had way different energy in Game 2 for OKC.
Lou Dort had a lot to do with that, by the way, in defending Tyrese Haliburton with the job he did. By the way, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander will be joining Scott Van Pelt in a matter of moments here.
That's right, but right now we're joined by Tim Legler. Legs, let me bring you in. What was the biggest difference you saw between Game 1 and Game 2?
Well, I just thought their offense let them down in Game 1. I thought tonight what you saw was what I watched all year. More balance, more guys comfortable shooting the basketball. And I think if I had to pinpoint it, it was the way they moved in the half court off of Shai's penetration. I thought Game 1, when Shai would penetrate, if he wasn't trying to score, guys stood and watched. Tonight, you saw a lot of action on the perimeter off of his penetration, with Indiana focused on staring at Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, in particular, Alex Caruso and Aaron Wiggins. I thought they were the biggest story, 38 points combined between the two of them. So you got solid games tonight out of Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren. Neither one of those guys played well in Game 1. They were both better tonight. But for me, the biggest difference is that punch that you got from the rest of the supporting cast, particularly Caruso and Wiggins, and the way that team moved the ball in the half court, because their break still has not been there through 2 games.
I don't know how you get it done, how you win if you're the Pacers, and they're getting 38 off the bench like that from those 2 guys, but a spectacular effort from them. Legs, thanks. And Jay, Will, I look at this game, now we've got Game 2 in the books, Game 3 coming up. How do the Pacers respond?
Look, I mean, the best way to respond is by have no memory of Game 2, right? You got to, a similar thing happened to Denver. We saw Denver walk in there, they got Game 1, and then they got smacked Game 2, and that was a 7-game series, right? So if you're Indiana, there's no need to panic. You got one. You came there to get one, and you got one. I think the most important thing is they have to continue to take care of the basketball. At times, you saw how good OKC is at raking down the ball, and their conversion rate was a lot higher. In Game 1, and not only did Indiana have 24 turnovers, but then OKC only had 11 points off those turnovers. Tonight was a very different story. They scored a lot more off those turnovers. So keeping turnovers down, and once again, I go back to this. There's some phenomenal record, and I don't know exactly where it is. It's like 28-2 when Tyrese Haliburton has 20 or more points. So he has to be aggressive from the start. He's the initiator of this offense, and he gets them going.
I'm on fire. It's NBA,